All right, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Wargame, a Red Dragon replay cast. Today it's another 4chan 3 vs 3 tournament game. It is round 2 in the tournament, so therefore will be a best of 3 on the right side. This team, Filthy Casuals, as the red team, Fuzzball, M-Bets, and Red Shield on the left side. Team Epic will be the blue team, Integer 90, Medan, and Chavron. And just a quick tournament update. Again, it is round 2, so it's best of 3, and we'll be going into round 3 very shortly. Now, these two teams are the last two teams to play before round 3. The teams that will be moving on so far is Team Stream Snipers, Team Wardong, and Team A and Z. And whoever wins this best of 3 series between Team Epic and Team Filthy Casuals will be moving on to round number 3 in the tournament, leaving just 4 teams. And so we will speed this on up just a little bit. The map is Highway to Seoul. And as usual, I will be including in the description of the video one of these players' decks. I'm going to include Integer 90's deck in this first game here. And then I believe I'll put Fuzzball's game, or Fuzzball's deck rather, in the next game's description so that you guys can check out their decks if you would like. And so I'm going to start doing that from now on. Starting from the last couple of videos, I will include the players' decks in the games. Not everybody, but just the top 2 players in there. And so now all the teams are out and about. Lots of DAPs moving on out. CF-104 is moving over to the left side here. And it appears everybody's really enjoying the DAPs as it's such a good helicopter. And tons of armor here. I see M1IP and M1A2, 2 IPs and 2 CEVs for Integer 90 moving towards Delta by the looks of it. Meanwhile, Medan is taking the far left side with some Lynxes with troops, Fennec 20 mils. And on the right side, Chavron will be taking the right side by the looks of it. And some troops going up the middle as well. Probably sending those on over to Echo as soon as they're done. Getting close. M-Bet's taking the left side. Fuzzball in the center with Delta and or Echo there. And on the far right side, looks like Red Shield will be going to the far right side. But it doesn't look like anybody really went to the right side on the Filthy Casuals here. And DAP engaging the very first aircraft, and it was a CV aircraft, so that DAP took that out, so that's definitely going to hurt the Filthy Casuals a little bit. So Team Epic with the very first victory of the game. Fennec 20 is now moving on in. The DAP all out of stingers. That's the only unfortunate thing about DAPs is that they only have 4 missiles. And now the Fennec 20 is moving on in here pretty close. And so it will be a battle of the secondary guns. And the Fennec 20 fires probably 3 times and took out that helicopter. That was probably a realistic amount of shots that it actually would take to take out a helicopter there. So I commend that one. A few 20 mils would definitely ravage the thin metal of a helicopter pretty well. And so far, a +2 advantage for Team Epic, as they're really the only ones that actually captured anything so far. But it is quite early just yet. Cobra here blasting away on that wood line with those Rangers and the Shiki Gs in it. And IP's now moving up to the edge of the wood lines here. A couple of CEVs too. I do enjoy the CEV personally. It's a very, very good unit. Although you definitely want to keep it way back, and if you get it into a fight in the woods, just kiss your CEV goodbye because it fires insanely slowly, and it's very slow in itself in terms of its movement speed. And if the CEV can get to the edge of the wood line here, those Buntai at the end of the woods are going to feel the wrath of the 165 millimeter CEV, and it's winding up now, but again, it takes a while, so as soon as units move out of its sight range, it has to re-engage. And now a battle going on over here. All the Lynxes have moved all the way over here, I guess just as scouting, just to say screw it. And they were just floating over the wood line. And now they're target practice here for the Pivads. And the Blackhawk as well. It's having a good time. But so far, no serious engagements just about anywhere on the map. Minor spats here and there. The CEV was finished off there. And now the CEV fires at the Shiki. But unfortunately, it is just HE. The Shiki sort of shrugs it off. The 15D flying overhead, now dropping on the woodline. Will it get the Shiki or not? It's looking like it will not. And Shiki just barely gets out of there. And I'm sure that decision was appreciated on the driver's behalf there to get out of there. That would certainly send you for a loop as soon as you back out like about 20 feet. The entire area in front of you, where you were, is now completely engulfed in flames and a big crater. Nobodon moving up here to the far left, and nothing was really sent over here on the right side, and it was just really to collect Lima, to really capture Lima and then bring in units instead of just bringing them all the way around. We have a command M1 all the way in the back there holding Lima. And now Mike will soon be taken here. Looks like CV troops will be dropped off into Mike there. Pivad's move it up. And it's really got to watch out for this Pivad's here. He's way, way out of line and in the middle of nowhere. And if he moves up any closer, it's going to get hit by these leopards and such. Moving up. And Pivad's looks like he's pretty much screwed here and gets hit by the leopard there, which I saw coming a mile away, I suppose. And now the Bradley firing the Shiki G. And hits the front end of that, and that is no more. Still at +2 advantage for Team Epic. And Habe Young's pushing forward, trying to get into the other end of the woods here. Jaeger's only one man left. And just a Roland and a Flak Panther in the woods here. Needs some additional firepower. 2A5 now moving up. And that would certainly do the trick. But it's got to get to the edge of the woodline here. Meanwhile, the Roland and the Flak Panther are pretty vulnerable. Not too much around there to really worry about just yet. Leopard 2A1 firing at the Habungs. And gonna take another shot or two before they get in. There they go. Echo still neutral. Neither side really bringing a CV into there just yet. And so is Delta. Neither side has brought a CV in. We have a CV for the Filthy Casuals now being brought into Delta. Where there's some Rangers at V150 over here. So it looks like Filthy Casuals will take Delta for a little while. Leaving only a +1 advantage now. +1 advantage for the Filthy Casuals. Has turned around, and it looks like they captured Mike at the same time there, I do believe. And that gave them that +1. So turning the game around now to the Filthy Casuals. And Echo still neutral. Neither side really bringing that CV in. And I would like to see that happen. It would certainly could turn the game around a little bit here. 0-0 now for both of these teams. And I didn't really see what zeroed that out. Perhaps capturing Alpha, maybe. Not really sure. Or perhaps Golf there. Probably not Golf. They only had a +1, so I think they captured Alpha. Not really sure exactly. Nope, neutralized Delta there. Pulling that CV back out of there. Caused that zeroed out. And believe it or not, that probably happened right in front of my face, and I didn't see it. But that does happen from time to time. Hotel still neutralized here, bringing up a Fennec tow. And we'll see what it decides to fire on, if it's got a good shot or not. LAV-25 Scout. A little bit too hidden for that tow to fire. And so right now, a little bit stale. Neither side really pushing in too hard. We'll bring it up to 2x. to see if anything fun happens. And going to be bringing that CV back into Delta now. Where that AH-1J flying overhead, it gets taken out by that closed arrow pretty quick there. And U.S. Marines here going to be firing, and it gets finished off before they get the chance. It was just one Marine. And a Patriot on the way here for the U.S. Coming on in. And we'll see if he can do any good damage to the planes of Team Epic. So 0-0 still. Team Epic leading, though, with 109 as they had that +2 advantage for a while. Mistrals here. And multiple anti-aircraft firing at that Peace Rhine, but it gets out. And so very lucky there. CEV firing away at the Panzer Grenadiers at the edge of that wood line. And as you can see, the fire rate is so slow on the CEV. And as soon as they get out of vision, it has to restart the whole process again. That's pretty much the only bad thing about the CEV. Otherwise, it is very, very good. Has exceptional range as well. 2450, yeah, indeed. It's quite far. Still zeroed out here. Delta and Echo owned respectively by these teams. And going to be a bit difficult to take out that CV there, as the Rangers are in front of it, and there's all this open ground in Delta, so we'll see how they deal with that in a moment. And U.S. Marines down to 4 men in the wood line there. So a bit of a battle going on in the woods. And KV-107 and the Cobra flying overhead. Going to finish off those Rangers, but the closed arrow may finish off that. Indeed it does. Patriot all the way in the back of the woods here, just waiting for anything to come along. Radar off at the moment. Always a good idea, of course. Riflemen pushing at the Shiki there, and there are 3 cargo as well that could be taken if they get a little too close, and they may. They could probably actually fire their AT-4s at those cargo vehicles and take them out now. And it looks like he did just that. He actually had to physically do that in a triple explosion there. And I didn't even see this one get hit by anything, but it just sort of, I think, may have chained explode. I'm not even sure. That was sort of strange, as they did have 12 AT-4s, and now they only have 10, so they only fired twice. So I think it actually exploded from the other one exploding next to it. Or rather, just the AoE of the AT-4. I'm not really sure on that one. Very strange indeed. Ninja moves on in, gets himself a kill. Now all out of Type 91s. Leopard 2A1 finishes off a vehicle there as well. And now Echo is neutralized, whereas Delta is taken now by Team Epic. And they have their CV down here in the corner, and their CV for Team Filthy Casuals all the way back there. Chaparral firing at the Ninja now, and appears to be having a hard time hitting it there. Now a +2 advantage for Team Epic. And Buntine 90s pushing in to the woodlines here. And nothing but riflemen and a little bit of rangers there guarding that. Jaegers in a little bit of trouble, unable to really defend themselves against all this damage. K1A1 firing back as well. And still +2 for Team Epic. And now 2 Patriots combined here for Red Shield. And 3 missiles missing, so they've obviously fired a few times, and not sure if they actually got anything or not with them. Peace Pheasant evac in there, and the Buntai still going strong. And 20 Jaegers behind them. They die out, and now the Jaegers left to defend themselves. And they have a good crescent shape going on here from Team Epic. Blasting away at all these Jaegers, but here comes some bombs, and finishes off that attack pretty well, but still 20 Riflemen here to deal with only 5 Jaegers. Not going to be too much of a problem. And call over here. Looks like Team Epic has found the CV and has marked that. And a Leopard 2 CV there. And they may try and bomb that out. And there are plenty of M110s here to try and do just that. And I think they are winding up now to do that. Prowler now moving out with an F-15D Eagle. So a bombing run. Nope, and he's just going to evac. He said, screw it. I don't really feel like it today. And so did the Prowler. They're just not having it today. They just sort of went out, and then they pretended to do their bombing run. They just sort of said it. Like, yeah, we bombed. And nobody can really disbelieve them. They just sort of dropped their bombs somewhere along the way. They just sort of jettisoned them. And they're like, yeah, we did our bombing run. Look, we don't have any bombs anymore. Lav M firing away at the troops here. The Stott group. Little Stott group. That's a good one. With 1,200 units, it's always a pleasure to try and pronounce 1,200 different things. Still +2 for Team Epic. Team Filthy Casuals unable to push out Team Epic here from any of the spots that they need to do so. Echo still neutralized. Both have a CV in it. And if that Leopard can get bombed out, then we'll give a +3 advantage to Team Epic. And it looks like it is trying to be bombed out here. Leopard 2 has craters all around it. And these M110 still firing away. And it looks like they are firing at towards the left side now. An attack has been called here by Chavarone. And there is nothing there at the moment, though. It quite possibly have been completely destroyed. I see little fires about. And Filthy Casuals rolling in quite a bit. Shiki G's here and Closed Arrow moving on in. Leopard 2 still doing alright, has 4 bars of health. Survived the majority of the bombing from the M110s there. The Luke's A1 has been spotted there and is moving towards the main base here pretty quickly. Peace Pheasant flying overhead, and looks like he's going to use that Peace Pheasant to take out that Luke's. Should do the job. Certainly has 4 chances to do so. And even more if you were to use the Vulcan, and he did a little bit there. And the M110 still pouring into the wood line here. And it looks like that one is dead on. Oh, almost dead on. And still blasting and trying to get that leopard as best as he can. And only 2 bars of health left on that. The 2A5 still going strong here. I think this is from earlier. Aircraft now moving on in towards this area here. And a second Leopard 2 has been brought in anticipation of the first Leopard being destroyed, and a jet has been taken out there, crashing about behind the area there. And so with 2 Leopards now, I doubt Echo will fall anytime soon. Quite a bit to take out both of those, although one of them only has 2 bars. It won't take a lot to take out that one. And still neither side really able to push any of the other side out of Hotel and Mike here. Been lasting for quite a while. Delta has been re-neutralized. Brought the CV vehicle in there for Delta. CV for the other side. Still going strong here. It's never really had to be removed since it has been placed there. So leaving only a +1 advantage now that Delta has been neutralized. But 347 to 9 right now. And we will hit the 2x mark on this and just speed it up a little bit. And F1 now flying overhead for Fuzzball. And dropping here and gonna smack that K1 A1, but does not finish it off. Very, very lucky tank driver indeed. Peace Pheasant flying overhead and looks like he tried to hit that cheeky there and fired 3 times and missed miserably. AGS now moving on to the front lines. Mbet's calling attacks on the CV here, and it looks like he can't actually see where the CV is, but just assuming this is where the CVs are as the Han is driving through here, didn't see anything. So this is pretty much the only spots where they could be, or at least the most likely spots where the CV is there for Delta. And so we'll see if there's any bombing runs coming in. And that F-16A was very lucky. He was taking so many shots there from those F-4s and survived. 2 IPs now moving forward here. Splits them up a little bit. And one of them is going to be backing out. It only has 1 bar of health. And survived there from that Peace Rhine. Flew overhead. Launched a couple electro-optical missiles at it, but both of them missed. Surprisingly, Shiki G here firing at the IP. IP finishes off that G. And now AH-1J spam here flying overhead. And why not? And closed arrow firing back. Cannot fire fast enough. Shiki now firing back. But probably not going to happen either. F1's dropped an overkill of missiles onto that IP there. And the other IP has been brought back to the Hemet to repair that up. Now Echo here, still neutralized. The Leopard and the Cha there. Holding it strong for both players, if you will. +2 advantage for Team Epic. 480 to 9 at the moment. And so that looks like it may just about be it for Team Filthy Casuals in game number 1. But stay tuned on my channel for game number 2, which I will be uploading shortly after this one. It may get uploaded at the same time. It may get uploaded a little later. You never know. I mean, sometimes life gets in the way. You know, life is always getting in the way of things like video games and such, but so is life. So Team Epic wins the first game of a best of three, rather, between the Team Epic and Team Filthy Casuals in round 2 of the 4chan 3vs3 tournament. But I hope you guys enjoyed the replay, and I'll see you guys next time.